welcome back to the Chatverse. Today we're going to be a little more serious in our conversation. It's a conversation that affects a lot of people because it's things that go on in today's world.
And it's a conversation that we feel like we need to have.
Yeah. Yeah, because being on a online platform deals with how people behave online and like kind of the bullying aspect that people do online. And so we're going to talk about that. It's kind of like an open conversation. We're not trying to step on people's toes, but it's something that needs to be talked about because a lot of people are like afraid of talking about it because they don't want to get backlash. So if you're new here, welcome. If you've been here,
welcome back.
Well, yeah, it's good to see you again. If you aren't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. And remember to like. Let's roll into the video.
Yes.
Okay. Like we talked about in the little intro, we are talking about a more serious subject of what happens online, like how people treat each other. It's a conversation that a lot of people don't like to have, or when they have it, they get backlash for it. They get exactly what you're trying to talk about happens to them. And it's kind of a thing where people then shy away from it and don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be subject to the ridicule of people online. And when we were like younger, cyberbullying wasn't that rampant.
No, it really wasn't, because I feel like at that time period, there might have been as many people not online as many people online. So what I meant by that is there was a lot of people who do not have social media accounts. Also, a lot of social media platforms did not exist.
Yeah.
So you have that. But it was the fact of, not everyone was really into it yet. You also were in a time frame where not everyone had smartphones, so you didn't have a computer at your hand to do it whenever. You were on your laptop at home or your desktop computer type of a thing. So when time has changed, where now everyone has their phone at their hand, where in seconds or constantly throughout the day, they can, watch things, look things up, comment things, start a dumpster fire, all that stuff. It's become more and more popular. We also have more platforms now. And some platforms are viewed as to be more pleasant, some are viewed as more toxic, or some people just like to take advantage of things. And unfortunately, just turn things into a bad situation, or just misuse the internet and misuse social media.
And it's just like a lot of it too seems like people out of boredom, especially because of last year. It was, like I was saying, like when we were younger, it wasn't really a thing. It was kind of just coming around when we were in high school. Because in like middle school and high school, the biggest platform was MySpace. And then Facebook came about.
AIM.
Yeah,
when people would have do a bunch of the instant messaging back and forth to each other.
Yeah, so it wasn't as much of a thing, but then progressively became more and more as we got older. Different apps came out, different social networks.
I know. There are so many even apps in general that are not the popular ones that people use that it's sad, because all of this could be a positive thing. They could be a good thing, but there's too many people who are flipping it around and turning it into a negative, into a bad thing.
Right. They were originally made for you to share, like moments of your life, connect with people that are, like, if you have family that's abroad, or even they're stateside and they're in different states, you can stay connected. You can stay connected with friends when you go away from school.
Old coworkers, all kind of like stuff. Network and stuff.
Yeah, so it was meant for that, and it kind of took a turn, and it progressively got worse, but within the last year, because of everything that happened and people being at home, then they were, like, on social media even more, and it became more rampant of people acting out online.
They turned it almost into a hobby.
Yeah, they just become an online troll.
And causing a lot of ruckus.
Yeah, it's just something that it shouldn't happen. And, like, I know when I was younger, like, in high school, I didn't even really have social media. I did not have social media.
I did not either. I was not allowed to.
No.
So.
I think there was one point that I made a Facebook when I was maybe a sophomore or junior in high school. I want to say it was a sophomore. Only had it for a very, very short time because I was just like, I don't want to be on here. Because I saw, like, even in that short period of time, I saw people, like, it just was, like, drama. And I'm like, I don't want to get involved in this. So I, like, took it down. And then for the duration of the rest of high school, I never had anything. I didn't even... I got the first social media that I was on after high school was Twitter. And that was, like, back in 2011. In October, actually, was when I, like, made my Twitter account. And that, for a while, was, like, one of the only social media platforms that I had. And then I moved into, like, having other ones as, like, more and more came out. Just because I'm the type of person where most of the time I'm more private. Like, I don't want to show my whole entire life online. Now, like, there's still a comfortability where I will show some extent, but I keep my accounts private because I'm like, I don't want to be all over the place. So, like, doing this now is, like, a different thing, but we still have control of, like, I don't have to tell you everything of my life.
Right. Like, I know that that's definitely something even, like, for me, that there's certain things that I will tell stories about and I will say things, but there's also things that I definitely, like, want to keep private because
it's your life.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to play out your day-to-day life online. And the thing is, too, like, people, what they portray online, that's not who they are. A lot of people. Like, these influencers and stuff that you see, like, that's not how their actual life is. That's just what they want you to see. Which
I feel like that's honestly a bad thing because if we would see, you know, some of the other stuff, then maybe, I don't know, maybe society might be different.
Yeah, it's because they make it like this. There's different layers to this. And, like, there's the bullying layer, and then there's the other layer of people make this, like, they seem like they have this grand life or this, like, perfection, and, like, they use filters, they use all of this stuff, and, like, I get it.
Having fashion shoots, going on 50 billion vacations with friends and posting it.
Yeah, like, and like, their page is just them, like, pictures of them, and it's like, my page, like, yeah, you'll have pictures of me, but then you'll have pictures of, like, places that I've gone, or, like my dogs or whatever. Like, you're gonna see, like, different aspects like that. That's why I said, like, I do have the comfortability. I will show, like, certain aspects of my life, but like I said, I have my stuff privated because, like, I want to control who, like, sees what I do and who doesn't, because there's a lot of those troll accounts and all that kind of stuff, and those bot accounts, and who wants to get hacked and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, from the society point, they make, like, these beauty standards and all this kind of stuff so crazy and out there because people scroll through and they're like, oh, I don't look like that. Oh, there's another person that looks like this Barbie doll. Like, here's this person, and this is, like, this body type, and it's all this, like, stuff, and a lot of it isn't even how they actually look because it's so filtered. It's so touched up. Like, they minimize their waist. They do all of this stuff, and you're like, once you get to the point where you realize that's not how that person looks, like, You know what I mean? Like, you have the different, like, look of it, like, outlook on it. And you're like, okay, well, you know, but it's hard for a lot of the younger kids when they're looking through that, even when you're older, because you have that part of you that kind of, like, tries to compare yourself to somebody else, which, don't compare yourself to somebody else, be yourself. But
a big, I guess, way of, my best way to explain this is, like, you could say, like, with the beauty world and all that stuff that's going on, it has always been a thing that girls have started wearing makeup at a young age. But
because of pageant shows and stuff
pageant shows, all that stuff. But what I would personally say is, from when we were little or younger in middle school, the amount of makeup or the type of makeup we would do or people would do was so different than now.
Yeah.
You've got middle schoolers wearing makeup and you can mistake them as, no joke, college students.
Yeah.
And then you've got high school students that look like they're college students. And I'm not, like, bashing on makeup or how you wear it, because I like doing stuff with makeup. There's different stuff I'd like to learn. But I feel like because of social media and because of all these things that go on and what's getting put out there, it's these girls who think that's what they need to do.
Yeah.
When at that young age, like,
enjoy your childhood.
Right. In middle school, do you really need to be
an adulthood?
Do you really need to be, like, penciling in your eyebrows, changing your eyebrow shapes, doing a bunch of other things, I guess different dramatic makeup looks or different things when you're still in your youth, you're still young. Yeah, you can have fun with the different eyeshadow colors and all this, but you've got these kids that probably are breaking their parents' bank too, buying all of these.
Yeah, because
it's
these brands are expensive.
If you watch these TikToks where they say that they're going to do a whole makeup look in a certain amount of money, the amount of money that it puts into that some of these people are doing with the skincare, because that's what they saw. They saw this on TikTok, so they're going to go to Sephora, they're going to go to Ulta and buy all these things. That's expensive.
Yeah.
And I really think it's because of the beauty influencers and all of that stuff. And it's not a bad thing, but I feel like that it's you're aging everybody up, and
you're not letting kids be kids. And
correct.
Like, I understand. I went to
and then you don't know what age they are anymore.
Yeah, I went to college for business, so I understand from the business aspect. It is a good marketing ploy. It is. It works really, really well. Obviously, that's how these companies are getting their money. You know, they're using these influencers, and they're like, you have pull on all these social media apps. Let's do this, and you're going to get these young kids to...
But does a middle schooler need to be spending $50 on an eyeshadow palette? No. Go buy Maybelline at Giant Eagle or Walmart or CoverGirl.
Exactly. Eyeshadow, like the mascara, I don't use... Like, all my other kind of makeup and stuff is more high end, but it's still in a range where, like, it's not that where, like, some of it's, like, really, really out there. But for things like mascara, I use Maybelline.
Yeah, same. I use Maybelline.
All of them. Because those are the ones that work. I worked in a cosmetic store, and I had to try, like, prestige brands and stuff. The prestige mascaras sucked. I'm going to tell you straight up, they suck.
What's really scary is when you start to learn that there might be these prestigious makeup brands being under some of the other brands.
Oh, yeah.
And it might actually be the same makeup, yet they change the formula a little bit, and then they're marking it up higher. Is it... I could have sworn I heard that Urban Decay is technically under Maybelline, or there's something going on.
Some kind of relation of something.
There's different companies. It's like Wick. I don't know.
But and it's like some of them, they're gonna, like, some can claim that, like, they don't test on animals. They don't do all this stuff, but a lot of them do. There's a few that actually don't. And, like, they kind of try to put it in your head that, like, the commercial brands all test on animals. None of them are, like, sustainable or any of that kind of stuff. Where a lot of them, they're sustainable and they don't test on animals. And a lot of the prestige brands will try to market themselves as higher and be like, oh, we are, like, where dermatologists tested, and a lot of them are, and a lot of the commercial brands are as well, because working in a cosmetics company, like, you saw both, and I had to know about both. So it was like the whole thing of some of them are really good, the prestige brands. Like, I use It Cosmetic, and they are like plastic surgeons do work with the coming up with the formulas and everything, and they are they don't test on animals, so they're cruelty free and all of those kind of things. So there are brands like that are prestige, that yes, they are great, and then there's others now with the commercial brands like L'Oreal or Maybelline or CoverGirl. They have products that are really, really good, that are almost as good or almost better than some of the prestige brands.
I feel like that these beauty influencers for these young kids that they're not earning the money, they really should put it out there more often, which there are that do. They'll say, what's a dupe for this? So they'll go through it. But I feel like that's the thing, that there's this age bracket of the kids that they need to understand that. I understand if they do need certain products because of their face type and whatnot, with the oiliness, or if they break out, have acne problems. But when it comes to some of the other stuff, I just feel like it goes down a rabbit hole with all this online stuff.
Oh, yeah. Some of it,
they really get these kids.
It's just for the name that you end up paying for, because you could have dupes in cosmetics for the commercial ones, like you were saying, that like work just as well, or even better sometimes. Or you can get the prestige ones and you can be like, oh, I paid all this money, why is my skin like horrible, you know?
So, and I feel like what's very different is, I feel like years ago, if online would be so big, I feel like it would have been more of the internet doing all this stuff, like we were saying with the beauty world. I feel like it would have been that with the fashion, the clothing. I feel like years ago it was more of, you need to go to Hollister to get your clothes. That's the stuff we dealt with, where peer pressure knew. You have to go to Abercrombie. If you have to be wearing these brands. When the makeup stuff didn't really matter back then.
No.
It was more of that. So that's like a whole other thing of,
it's a generational thing.
It is definitely a generation thing. But that's the thing now with the internet. There is the fashion stuff, but now it's like more into thrifting and like, buying stuff at Target or different places like that. So I feel like that might be a bonus in a sense, because if that would be a whole other rabbit hole that the internet could take kids or people down with that, because even shoes. Well, I know the Jordans, all that stuff, it probably still is going on, but there were a lot of shoe brands or different stuff that people would wear years ago too, that was a whole other thing, that if the internet would have been doing all this stuff, it would have been
and like I said, from a business standpoint, it works. The marketing ploy, it does work. It obviously gets these companies a lot of money, and you know, and some of the products, I'm not saying they're not good, they are. It's just you're reaching an audience that you shouldn't really be concerned with at this point. Like, it's okay, it's fine for you to wear makeup when you're younger. Like, I'm not saying it's not fine. You can.
Yeah, that's not what it's about. It's all about what type of products or what they're having them do.
They're trying to make you feel like you have to look like this to be
and then it's this whole thing now of, well, the reason why your makeup isn't going on good because you got hair on your face, so you gotta shave it off.
Yeah, you gotta micro.
Yes, and it's like these young kids are gonna see that, and then they're gonna be going and doing that, and
you get more. People get more self-conscious. People get more self-conscious, and there's the whole thing about the whole body. There's the whole thing. That's why I said this has so many layers that it's like, oh my god, because there's the whole. You have people doing the whole body positive thing, and there's good and bad in that as well.
Oh my god.
Because I'm going to get in trouble if I say
Then the craft stores are going to run out of all their Elmer's glue sticks. They're all like, you got to glue your eyebrows now.
Oh my god. I just can't with some of it.
So, okay, how about we now move into the part where we're talking about more of the abuse?
Yeah,
because that's a section of this video we do
want to talk
about with How we feel that it's become a hobby to troll. People don't think that they have repercussions.
And it's not even just young people. There's older people doing it.
Oh, man.
And it's just so bad. And like I said, when we were younger, so cyberbullying wasn't really a thing because we had dial-up internet, guys. Like, that's how if somebody was talking on the home phone, you could not be on the computer. That's how that worked.
Or if someone kept calling your house phone over and over again, they would hang you up and you get kicked off the internet.
You have this irritating dial tone to tell you the computer is coming on. Yeah. It was a whole different thing, and I think that's why I'm glad I grew up when I did, because I didn't have to grow up subject to this online world of people just... And the thing of it, when people bully online, 9 times out of 10, if they were standing face to face with you, they would not say it to you.
No, they
Because
wouldn't.
it's a bunch of cowards that are just hiding in their house behind a computer screen or behind their phone screen, and they like talk a big talk. But if they were standing like right in front of me, they wouldn't say half the crap that they say online because they're a coward, you know?
And it's really bad that it's gotten into parents and adults being a problem with the situation. I know people who work with the schools, and an example of this would be when a lot of board education meetings could not be in person, they were doing them live, online. So on YouTube, on Facebook. And there's been many districts across the United States that have been doing this. And I got told that there were parents going on the live chat part of the Board of Education meeting chat where the board's not going to read it out loud, but everyone watching could. And you've got these parents slandering and talking badly against the teachers. And when I was hearing this, I could not believe this, because you had people telling, you know, these things to the teachers that if you can go to the grocery store, then you can teach in person. Oh, well, all you're doing is you're just sipping wine in your pajamas at home. And they were really saying this stuff that I could not get over, the things that I was hearing. So then I, the one time, said, well, I'm going to go, you know, look at a local district around me. And I'm going to watch this Facebook Live. And I saw it firsthand. Moms and dads saying this stuff. And I completely understand that there are many people who wanted their kids to be back in school. It's just very sad that at the beginning of the pandemic, you had everyone treating the teachers like heroes. They need to be paid more money, bowing down to them. And then, you know, when the next school year runs around, you've got these moms and dads that was not professional.
No.
The way that they were talking out, and that wasn't even trolling because it was their actual names on there.
Yeah.
And these teachers were taking screenshots, I heard, and like sending them to each other. That it's just sad that you've got grown adults talking very down and badly of people who are going to possibly educate their kids in the future. Like, say if it's an elementary parent, you could be shooting your mouth off at a high school teacher. It's not good, and it's the kids then that see this behavior and they think it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
And we are in a world now that there's a teacher on TikTok that I saw that actually stated, asking the kids, do you have rules when it comes to online?
Yeah.
What can you and can you not do? And these kids are saying that they don't have any rules. And then they say, well, do your parents monitor or see anything you do? They say no, which I understand privacy, but some of these kids have such a free will of what they can do, and it's bad because they not just saying, oh, they need to get punished, but they cannot put it through their brains that what they say and do is going to affect themselves down the road, affect other people, that there's a domino effect, and they don't believe there's repercussions for what they're doing, and that is horrible.
Yeah. So
then they think it's okay to create these fake troll accounts and just devour their friends online with them not knowing, just going to random accounts, getting into feuds on live chats.
Just starting a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm the type of person, like, I had one person make me cry, and I said never again.
Oh.
And it takes a lot for me to get, like, for you to get to me, because I'm no stranger to slander, but it's never really been an online. I've dealt with people, like, in person, because of, like, they're jealous. It's just a personality difference, whatever, and that's a whole different subject. But I've noticed it now online. It's all with, like, the election and all of that kind of stuff, and people attacking each other because of their beliefs, or who they, like, support, or what policies they support, or whatever. It was bad, and it's still bad. And it's like, not everybody's gonna agree with you. That whole disagree to agree to disagree is, like, gone. Like, people don't do that. And what I notice is people need to relearn respect. And, like, that irritates me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was seeing people that follow me and I follow on, it was happening on Instagram. I was seeing it, and it was all this stuff, and they have kids, and I'm like, you doing this online is teaching your kids that it's okay for them to say their opinion is the only one that matters, when it's not. And if you don't think like me, then you're stupid, and you're this, and you're that, and they're calling all these names, and like, stuff that's, like, calling somebody racist, or calling them this and that, and, like, no. So I had to, on my social media, I, like, put out a message that said relearn respect. And I was
think I remember that.
I was like, y'all know better, so do better. And I addressed it as a whole, because everybody has a place to learn from that, because we all have, like, moments where we might get angry with somebody, or, like, things might come out the wrong way. But it was addressing, I didn't want to call out, like, one person. I'm not going to start a fight with you, because there's no point. Like, I know, like, it's not going to go anywhere, so I'm going to address it as a whole. So that's what I did, and, like, for a time there, it kind of dwindled, where I wasn't seeing it as much. And then there's been times where it's peaked up, but places that I have seen people getting, like, just horrible is on TikTok, in comment sections. And just, instead of, like, taking the time out to attack somebody else, why don't you take that energy and fix yourself? Like, focus on fixing that personal problem, and being more, not everybody's sociable. Some people have that, like, social awkwardness, and it's totally fine. You don't have to be exactly like me, but don't hate me because of how I am, because I'm not gonna, like, change who I am just to make you feel better.
Yeah,
that's a whole other thing. But that's why I was saying it takes a lot now for somebody to, like, really get me upset. I'll get irritated, because who doesn't? You know, somebody's coming at you, like, who's not gonna get irritated? But I don't always say something to somebody. But I had somebody in a comment section just, like, go full blast at me. And I was just, like, talking about something, and it didn't even equate to what I was talking about. And I was like, I, like, asked the person, I'm like, what did you come here for? Like, honestly, what? Just to make yourself feel better? Or just to attack random people?
Is this when you were telling me how that there's a lot of times these trolls that actually have pre-planned arguments in their head, and that's why it's like, it sometimes makes no sense to what's going on in the video,
and
or the live.
If you don't play the part of the role that they have in their head, they're gonna just keep going and pushing until you fit that role. And like I was saying, look, like, I'm not gonna stoop to your level. Like, I'm not doing this. Like, this is, you know. And I, like, tried to end the conversation multiple times, and they just kept coming. And then at that point, I was like, you're blocked. Because I'm like, I'm not dealing with you. Because you're just trying to make me fit this persona that you have in your mind, just to fulfill whatever this is. That's why I think a lot of it is going on online, because these people have these pre-planned arguments, because this is how they make themselves feel good. And it's like, instead of wasting time doing this, live your life. Do things. If you don't like something, or if you read a comment that's contrary to your beliefs or whatever,
there's people who feed on it, though. That's the other problem.
That's the thing.
There's people who are out there who they like to get into arguments. They like to post things or say things that like them stir up. Like they're like, ooh, what can I say next? Ooh, I'm gonna get them.
And there's all typing and stuff. They have that void in their life, and they're like, oh, this makes me feel good.
It's like you just wasted all your time doing this when you could have been going and doing something else.
Yeah.
And then you're wondering why you're not getting things done in life.
Right. Or why you're unhappy and why you're alone.
But there's a lot of people that they like going on social media and they like to stir things up on purpose.
And there's people, those type of people, they'll stir it up even in person too.
Yeah.
Those are the ones like that want to get into argument, no matter if it's online forum or if it's in person. Mm-hmm. But like the troll people too, like those kind, 9 times out of 10, they will not say what they're saying to you online because they'll look at you and they'll be afraid. Like, you know, like they're not. Mm-hmm. And the thing, like, I'm not going to get in an argument with somebody and be torn down to your level because that's not the type of person I am. Like, I don't. Because you can choose your actions, but you can't choose your consequences. And you only have one reputation. Once you tarnish your reputation, that's what follows you. So it's like, why ruin your reputation and become this, like, monster that people just hate?
And that's the thing, then they try to do it anonymously, and it's just...
And they have multiple accounts. If they get blocked,
or they keep they'll keep coming. New ones,
yeah.
And
it's...
There's... And this is something that really isn't new with some of that, because there's been YouTubers for years that have discussed that they are very well-off YouTubers and they've been very successful. Yeah. And they'll even say that they deal with these people who constantly come in, this and that, and of course you'll get the fans that will try to back up the YouTuber. And it's a good thing, but sometimes it's a bad thing. Like there's
because
a Facebook...
then they're getting into an argument with each other.
Yeah, like there's Facebook groups that I belong to based off of these YouTube channels that it's just the fans talking. Yeah. And sometimes they'll get into it they'll get into fights with each other just trying to help and defend the actual YouTuber. So it's like then it's like you got these people battling it out, and it's like, oh my god.
There's no respect, and these kids these days, they just don't even know what respect is. And because they're following their parents.
The problem though is it's bled into their everyday
they're
non-technology life. Mm-hmm. This generation below us, that they've got like a permanent stink face on.
I can't see
so
oh my god.
There's a generation below us that anytime you try talking to them, they just sound like they're having an attitude towards you, attitude towards everything. Everything is sarcastic and bitchy, and
it's just so easily offended.
Yes.
They don't have a backbone.
And this isn't just stuff you see on the internet. I've actually dealt with it with firsthand from generations below us. Mm-hmm. And it's a very interesting thing because they do these gestures or things that I don't know if you would really say that they developed out of memes or from things. Have you watched Radio Rebel with Debbie Ryan? So she does this thing where it's like, it's this weird like look, and she does this thing behind her ear. Okay. So there's this thing that these generations below us do where they'll do this really snarky like type
where you just want to beat them up, and
I've seen this online. And see, I don't know how I just looked when I did this, but it's like that really like...
Oh, I know. Snottiness.
It's a snottiness, and they do it on purpose. I think it's like it becomes their lingo now.
Oh, I know. And they're bad. They're always like, oh, see, in a fight we'd win. We'd win in a fight, and it's like, no, bro. No, you would not. You'd be down in 2 seconds. Like, you would not stand a chance. Like, why are you so... And... They want to be like, no, we're not soft. It's, you guys are this, this, and this. And it's like, what is wrong with you? Like, you are soft. You're easily offended. And I'm not trying to be, like, bashing people, but, like, honestly, it's true. It is true. Like, you're so easily offended. And this whole concept of cancel culture makes me so like, honestly, if I don't like something... We're gonna
cancel your couch cushion next. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna...
It's and like, I'm gonna cancel my rug because it's Snow White. Like, it's bright white. I'm gonna cancel it because of that. They're easily offended by labels, like, not like terms. They're offended by too, but packaging, different things.
Are you talking about the Amazon?
Which one?
The Amazon logo?
Oh, I know. I saw that. I was like, what kind of stupid? Whose far-fetched brain was like,
and the new
looks
thing
like
is,
Hitler's mustache?
There's something about the Looney Tune Pepe Le Pew or something. There's something they're called. I don't know if this was a joke. Something about Curious George. I don't know if that was a joke or not.
I, like, was being sarcastic, and I was, like, saying something, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Maybe they're, too busy canceling Mr. Potato Head or whatever. And I said it in a sarcastic manner, but it is something that was going on. And somebody commented back to me and be like, if you just look, it's not canceled. Mr. Potato Head is still around. And I'm like, what source did you get? Because when you look it up, I have looked it up, and that's why I knew they were trying to cancel it, because they want to make him genderless when it's a freaking potato.
What's gonna happen to Toy Story?
I don't know. And did y'all forget about Mrs. Potato Head? Like, okay, like, that's the whole thing. I was like, and I didn't even respond to this person because I'm like, what is your problem? If you just look, yeah, I've looked, and your sources are, like, so biased that it's like, why would I even look at those? And two, it's a potato, and I was being sarcastic, and you just freaking went on so serious.
The other thing that I feel like that has gone out the window on the internet is being professional and having a professionalism has gone out the window. See, I don't know if in professions now, if things are becoming more unprofessional. I know there's a lot of, here's a perfect example, a lot of bosses now will just be dropping the F-bombs with their employees and joking around, and it's, I get, like, okay, but I feel like, well, then where is professionalism going? It's strange, because you've got that, and then you've got people online who they will post whatever they want, and they don't care what happens if your employer sees it. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the reason I'm bringing this up is, I feel like because maybe professionalism is going out the window in certain areas, then that's why these conversations are turning the way that they are. People aren't fearful that, well, maybe I should take this at a more professional approach or be more pleasant. I'm serious. Like, I feel like in these conversations, everyone's just so savage. And I'm serious. They're savage, and it's to the point where I feel like they can't even have a professional adult conversation.
No, they can't.
Yet you've got people who they think they are being professional by saying this isn't good anymore, that's not good anymore. So it's just, I don't know. I know that just sounded like a whole big ramble mess, but I hope somebody understood.
No, I know what you meant. Like, that's why it, like, ties into the
years ago,
respect.
You would not hear your boss literally joking about, hey, F you.
No,
I'm serious. No. But then you hear these things.
Everywhere I worked, and even when I was in management, like, there's no swearing on the floor. When
even, like, on lunch break. I've been on lunch break with many different types of people over the past several years. And I'm like, wait a second, why am I hearing this type of vulgar talk, this type of language? And I'm like, we're still at work, and I know people can BS and stuff, but I'm like, what?
Oh, I know. Some
Like,
people.
I'm trying to eat my lunch here, and then you're all talking all dirty and crap, and then I'm getting told, well, you must not have had a college experience then. No joke, a woman told me that. Because I, like, didn't know how to respond. Like, well, you're a young person, like, the stuff they were saying shouldn't bother me. And then, like, well, you didn't have a college experience. And I'm like, what? So think, people. Think about it. And that's not more, I don't care, I'm going to say this joke. I'm wearing my Flash shirt because in a flash you could screw up the internet. In a flash you could ruin your reputation. So think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's just...
In a flash. We'll have a dumpster fire. So be nice in the comments.
I know. It's just... There's just so much that...
Move on an island with no internet then.
Just keep scrolling. You don't like it? You don't have to engage with it.
Just look, they should do that with the Dory, that just keep swimming, just keep swimming. They should do it, just keep scrolling.
You don't like the person? Don't follow them. Just keep scrolling.
That's what I don't understand. If you don't like the YouTube channel, if you don't like the Instagram account, if you don't like the Facebook group or page, just leave.
Oh, I know.
So you don't look at their stuff anymore, and then you're not triggered to comment. Just go.
That's like on TikTok, when you like see in the comment sections, how did I get on this side of TikTok? Well, gee, Copernicus, it's because you're interacting with the...
Where the hell did you think of that name off the top of your head?
Because, I don't know.
That was the most randomest name I ever heard.
Because, I don't know. But, geez.
Great
really,
Scott. Get out of here.
Yeah, Copernicus. God. Like, honestly. It just... Because... Well, here's the thought. Because you're interacting with it. You're commenting. You're sending it to somebody. You're doing whatever.
I will admit,
to troll it. So that's how it's on your For You page.
Yeah.
It ended up there for a reason. If a video that I don't like ended up on my For You page, I just scroll past it. That's the normal thing to do. Why am I gonna type and say, how did I get on here? Like, jeez. I don't know. Maybe because you're taking your thumbs and you're typing away going, oh, I hate these people. Like, if you had a brain or whatever the heck you're talking about, like...
If I only had a brain.
If they only had a brain, maybe that's why then they wouldn't be freaking on a side of TikTok that they don't want to be on. Like, don't interact with it. That's the thing I don't understand. Why are you purposely doing this? You don't like it? Just scroll. Don't look at it. Close your eyes. Do something. Close out the app. I don't care. Hit the little top of the thing that says it'll refresh it. You'll get something else.
Oh my God.
Like, honestly, oh my God. It just drives me crazy. And that's why I said it that one time. Why did you come here? What did you come here for? Like, honestly. What? To make yourself feel better? Like, why? There's no point. Honestly.
Well, I hope you're able to follow this conversation. We went all over the place.
I know. And it's just, relearn respect is one thing that I can tell you.
Stop following.
Don't
if
engage.
You don't like it.
Don't engage with a conversation or a video or anything if you don't agree with it. If you don't like it, just keep moving. What's the point in ruining somebody else's life, attacking somebody, throwing insults around like it's confetti for what? Why? You can just go about your day. They go about their day. You're living separate lives. Why do you have to engage with it? Just move along. And the other thing is, like, you can choose your actions, but you can't choose your consequences. And your consequences don't only always affect you. They're going to affect other people around you. Your reputation, once it gets ruined, that's attached to your name. And the people that are attached to you, that follows them as well. So you have to be careful of what you're doing. And I know it's a different generation, but coming from a generation that's above you, us,
we need more role models.
You need a solid role model that actually...
And adults need to behave like role models.
They do.
Like adults, like...
There has to be that structure. There has to be those standards lifted up of you're supposed to live peacefully with each other. It's the best of your ability. Doesn't mean that I have to agree with your lifestyle or what you're doing or your way of thinking or whatever, but I'm still giving you respect. I'm not going to like attack you.
Right. And when you've hit a certain age, you've went through life experiences for a reason. Use them. Don't jump back to being a stupid 12-year-old or a 13-year-old
Right.
or a 16-year-old or anyone who's causing havoc all over the place. Like, come on.
Yeah. We don't always just like dive headlong into things. Because
of course every generation has those people still.
Oh yeah.
We're not saying everyone's a little angel.
No. We're not saying our generation is perfect because there's people even in our generation that have gotten sucked into that, and it's
plenty.
Every generation has their bad and their good. But coming from our standpoint of things, like there needs to be people that are role models of like this standard, and that respect and kindness is something that you need to extend to one another. Mercy is what you need to extend to one another. And it's perfectly fine to agree to disagree and go on about your life. Don't engage with things if you don't like it. Just move on. It's just we need more people that are going to stand up for the fact of like this is not okay. And that's why we did this video, because I gotta say it. Because if people keep brushing it under the rug, it's just only gonna get worse. And it's not an okay thing. You shouldn't be bullying somebody else online. You don't know what that person's life is like. You don't know what they're going through.
I feel like that's a movement that needs to start again. It was at one point, and I feel like it has phased off the planet.
Yeah.
That needs to be a movement that starts again. Stop the cyberbullying. Stop the trolling. Yeah.
Last night when I was thinking about... we were filming today, I remembered when we were seniors in high school. I don't know, did you go to one of the schools downtown for the anti-bullying?
Yeah, we did the skits and stuff.
Yeah, so that came to mind, and I was tasked with talking about cyberbullying, and I didn't know much about it, so I had to look into things, and like I said, that's why back then it wasn't too much, it wasn't that high of a thing. It was there, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. But we went into schools as older kids, going into these elementary grade classrooms, talking to them about respecting one another, giving kindness, helping your friend. And if you've seen somebody getting hurt, getting bullied, you don't be afraid to stand up for them. And if you don't want to stand up to the bully yourself, get an adult. Don't be afraid to do it. And that's the thing that I see a lot going on now, that people just are turning a blind eye to it. They're not sticking up for somebody else. And as soon as you do stick up for somebody else, why people I think don't do it is they're afraid to have a target on their back. People are so afraid to do it because they're like, oh, then I'm going to get the hate. You can't afraid to step in and say, hey, you know what, that's not right. Don't talk to that person like that. That's not cool. Why are you doing it? Do you think it's going to make you cool? It's not,
That's the thing, 'cause everyone wants to keep everything so anonymous. They don't even want to be seen getting told all that stuff. But.
And that's the whole thing about the target on the back, Yeah. So it's just, we need people that shift the gear and go back to saying, this is not okay. We can't be doing this. Because you do not know what somebody's going through. You don't know what their life is. Like we talked about before, people put what they want you to see online, they don't tell you.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on beyond that, so.
You don't know what, there's the old saying, walk a mile in someone else's shoes or whatever. It's true. You don't know what somebody's going through.
I think that's a good way to end it.
Yes. Yep. We hope you got something out of this conversation. I know it's a little shift from our lighthearted nature. We did try to make some jokes in between to kind of keep it in a lighthearted vein-ish. But hopefully you gained something out of it and you've learned something, and that you're not going to be afraid to stand up and say, hey, this is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do this. And if you're engaging in it, maybe this will help you think before you do it and say, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't a good idea.
Yeah. And let's keep the comment section nice. We can have a conversation about this. We really want that, but keep it nice.
Yeah.
So on that note, thank you for joining us today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for joining us in the Chatverse.